Please step back from the hatch.
So, apparently Hearthbound was review bombed because the developer for the game, Pirate Software, the YouTuber that is also the developer, is named. Anyways, you get the gist of it. They said that this game was getting review bombed, and I was actually kind of curious. People have been looking at the grabs and whatnot, and yeah, it looks like recent reviews have been kind of not good, and a lot of it. But it's interesting because usually Steam gets rid of these if they don't have substance. And so I actually went in to check the reviews, and so here we are right now. This, I think, is 4th of July, so please forgive me if you hear fireworks. There are 29 negative right now in this section. I can click here, and I believe it takes me to the reviews posted roughly around this time. And you want to know what's interesting? I checked this, yesterday, and surprisingly, the reviews, at least from yesterday, weren't so much about Stop Killing Games. Like, there were mentions of it, as well as Pirate Software, and, their thoughts of him as a developer, but there was actually a lot of feedback about the game itself. So, for example, this person said, I bought this game when I was in middle school, and now I'm in college and still not even remotely close to being done. This person says, this goes to show you that any buffoon can release a game. It doesn't have to be fun or interesting or well designed, but you can make any lame collection of pixels like this thing is and release it on Steam Early Access. Maybe if the developer actually worked on this game instead of just exploiting it for personal gain, it might be a better product than the sub-mediocre waste of time that it is. Some people praise the art. I don't see that either. You'd think that a real game dev would want to finish their game to work on a new game if they were truly game devs and not just trying to LARP as game devs. So, pretty aggressive review there, and again, the gist of it is, the main point that this particular review is getting at is, the game's not done. Let's see here. Doesn't have to be fun or interesting. So he's implying that it's not fun or interesting or well designed. And he's saying that the art's not, all that great. And maybe the developer actually worked on this game instead of just exploiting it. The developer apparently has been absent with development. This one said this game itself had a lot of potential when it came back in December 2018. Let's see, did it really come out back then? I thought this was a recent game. I'm going to be honest. I thought this was something that was released maybe a couple years ago. I'm going to have to I'm going to ask ChatGPT. ChatGPT knows all, right? When was Hearthbound released? So it also said 2018. It was just December 2000. So it's almost 2019, but still. That's insane. Okay. I bought in hopes of experiencing some good story of our protagonist with his helpful canine. From the beginning of the story, or rather put together bits and pieces of it, even if not polished, hit close to my home in a good way. Yet all got wiped clean the moment Pirate Software abandoned for 7 years, keeping it still early access. He abandoned it for the means of streaming or other nonsense things, like doing shorts on YouTube where he talks on other things rather than working on real things. It's really disappointing and sad. So apparently he's abandoned the game, at least according to what these reviews are saying. Now I don't imagine that he has fully abandoned it. I don't think, anyways. I've seen videos of him recently working on it, so I mean, most likely what the reality is that he's not working on it at a pace that is, satisfactory for these people. Is that his real name? I don't think that's his real name. Is that really his real name? Okay, this is just a nonsense response. There are nonsense responses, or reviews, I mean. Oh yeah, and here's one right here. This one makes it very clear that it's not about the controversy. Review is not related to the controversy, but the controversy did make me remember I never reviewed it. Honestly, the game was very boring and I lost interest fast. See playtime. He played for 2 hours, it looks like. I wanted it to be good. I really liked this guy's videos about the game, his development process, but it was just really hard to stay engaged with. A lot of "don't worry, this will make sense later," while random things just kind of happen. Very much a part of the trend post-Undertale of indie games trying to really hard to be like Undertale. Yeah, I haven't really followed indie games that try and follow in Undertale's footsteps, so I wouldn't be able to support that. But it looks, again, this review, just like the other ones, except for this weird. This one was probably about the controversy. This one, I will admit, it's probably related to the review bombing. But so far, 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 5 have been actually about the game, more or less. This game feels more like a tool to boost the developer's streaming career than genuine work in progress. For an early access title, there's no proper feedback channel to communicate with the developer. Any feedback that isn't glowing seems to get banned, and the developer comes across as dismissive, acting like they know best. I bought this to support a promising project, hoping for a finished game, but it's become ego-driven. So again, they're talking about hoping that the game's finished. Looks like feedback isn't being taken appropriately either. Game is abandoned. Game has been unfinished for years, and rather than actually work on the game, the main dev streams himself playing games for hours and hours. Honestly, I'm gonna step aside real quick. I mean, if this works, streams himself playing games for hours and hours over game dev. I mean, if he prefers that, I mean, so be it. But but for the sake of the review and for this game, that's unfortunate, right? The fact that he'd rather divert his attention to something else instead of actually finishing the game, at least according to this reviewer, as well as a few of the others. Developer's massively skill issued. Okay, evidence: I'm a developer in the same engine and I'm about to be out of early access after about a year of being in it. 7 years, especially at this level of pre-release success, is ridiculous. Making games is hard, but not nearly as hard as the guy wants to make it out to be. Stop Killing Games initiative is very cool. The developer speaks again. So this one does refer to the initiative, and makes me wonder if this was also part of the negative review craze. But then they say something like this: Hearthbound itself was fine the last time I played it, but it was really just walk around and talk to dudes the entire time with a few mini games. Sure, it'd be fine if it was done, but it's not done. The money made from their early access release has gone to the developer's ego or been totally wasted. From what I recall, the story did jump around a lot and seemed to assume the player had experiences that they did not, as well as try to subvert itself. So, this one, it's like 50-50 for this one. This one might actually be part of just negative review for the negative review, but this person has played it for 2 hours, which seems to be about the average for the game. This person has 8, but yeah, it looks like it's roughly like an hour or 2 of a game, and yeah, so it looks like they have played it, and they don't like how the story was jumping around. Got this game in 2019. Either finish the game or refund it to everyone. There's a warning to everyone that doesn't have the game: do not buy this. This is not a game. It's an infinite early access scam. Make a game that looks like another good game, Undertale. Release it in early access, then only release micro updates to not have it removed by Steam. Basically, another Young Dairy Death. This one's fully just blasting the game for what it is. It has nothing to do with Stop Killing Games. Prior to the game 6 years ago, thought it had promise. I bought it, and turns out that devs soft abandoned it and only comes back because Steam would say how long it's gone without updates for. So yeah, another situation where people are talking about it being abandoned, not a complete game, never getting finished, abandoned the game. Oh, I think I remember seeing this one. They were saying, fun fact, Elden Ring started development after this game released, had a DLC and a spin-off, all in the time it took for Pirate Software to make 2 chapters, totaling around 3 hours for main story. Okay, so I'm gonna cut Pirate Software some slack, specifically in this area, because that comparison is kind of a leap. Elden Ring was made by a large team of people. It's a little bit different when I think I could be wrong, but I think Pirate Software is making this Hearthbound game almost entirely solo, if not entirely solo. So that comparison's a bit of a leap. But I will say this: if we draw away the comparison, at the end of the day, there is a point to be made that they're not satisfied with the time it's taking to develop this game. I thought this game was subpar, 8 years and not finished. I did a full review on YouTube. Art is good, music is good. Interesting. Par and not finished. Okay. That seems like it would be a neutral review if Steam would allow that, but I guess not. This game has been in early access since 2018 and purchased in 2023, and since then development has seemingly stalled. And yeah, again, so at least, you know, I'm not going to go through every single freaking review, but, you know, I think July 3rd, July 4th, July 3rd, July 4th, July 3rd, July 4th, July 4th, July 4th, July 4th, you know, between today and yesterday, this full page of reviews, there are like 1.5 people that I feel like would be doing this because of Stop Killing Games and the developers kind of what's the word, aura, I guess, or something like that. You know, the drama around him. But like, it seems like, at least for all these current reviews that are on this front page, like, it seems like the vast majority of it is actually talking about the game and the fact that it's essentially, you know, people aren't happy with how the development's been going. They're calling it abandoned. There was one person who said that feedback wasn't really being taken seriously. And so, yeah, I guess the conclusion here is, at least from this right here, I can draw the conclusion that the negative reviews aren't necessarily because of Pirate Software himself specifically, and, you know, his YouTube drama, but because of the game itself. And according to what some people were saying, the drama then reminded them that this game was not living up to their standards, and so they dropped the negative review. And I think that's why they're not getting removed off of Steam, is because of that fact, because they're actually talking about the game. Anyways, this is me rambling for a little bit. I don't know how to edit these kinds of videos. I'll probably just chop it up a little bit and then just go from there. And yeah, see you in the next one.